So how did you like learn to become an amazing producer?
I just learnt through necessity, really, as a frustrated vocalist. I'd say I studied at Goldsmiths, the popular music degree at Goldsmiths started that in 2006, 2007, and I graduated 2009, 2000. And during my last year, I had this little demo that I'd made with a producer that got picked up on BBC Introducing and started to get played quite a lot on radio. And then from that, I ended up in rooms with lots of different, the producer to be in. This is still pop music at that time. So it was like Lau.ra era, Marina and the Diamonds, like all these, there's kind of like slightly alternative UK pop stars were emerging everywhere. Little Boots, it was that era of pop music. And so I was shoved into rooms with like all the guys that were making these tracks. And I maybe did it for like 6 months, and I just came out feeling quite confused as to who I was artistically. And also with like half finished demos that I didn't have access to finishing, because all the stems or everything was on some dude's laptop that I'd spent an afternoon with and then never seen again, for 6 months or whatever. So it was quite an interesting experience. I think it was essential for me to go through it, but equally I came out of it feeling like none of these tracks really represent myself artistically, and I have no way of finishing them or working on them myself because I don't have access to any of the recordings. And so I just thought, right, I need to be able to record myself. And in the very beginnings, it was just out of necessity to be able to like learn the language, because I think a lot of the time as a vocalist, you can end up frustrated in sessions with producers because you just don't necessarily have the technical language to explain where you want to go or get to. And if you don't have that technical language, some producers can kind of not take you that seriously in a way. If you can't talk about EQ and compression and actually give it to them in their own technical terms, they may not necessarily take your ideas that seriously. So I was like, right, I need to learn this, at least learn how to record myself. And then of course I learned how to record myself, and then I just learned how to make tracks, and then I've never looked back since, really. And now I don't really sing on my own records at all anymore, because I've found that the minute I do sing on my tracks, people focus on the Lau.ra as a vocalist, not me as the producer, which I spent so long trying to establish myself like this, me making the tunes, I was a bit miffed when everyone just talks about me as a vocalist and not as a producer.
Yeah. Interesting. So were there courses you took, or was it just kind of YouTube and just kind of practice?
Not even YouTube. Like, this is way back. I just kind of YouTube was it was around, but it wasn't anywhere as near as kind of, you can YouTube anything now, right? And there's a tutorial for it, where it wasn't really that same sort of space, back in 2009. So I just taught myself. But I think if you have an intuitive brain and being able to it's fairly self-explanatory, right? You just kind of put the hours in and you kind of figure it out. And I was lucky enough that also I was continuing to be in rooms with different producers. I've always collaborated with different dance artists ever since my very beginnings. So I would be in sessions with Justin Martin or Sasha and these people that I was making tracks with, and I'd try and pick up a few little pointers, looking over the shoulder of things. I've never been a very good person for asking questions. I don't know what that's about. I'm still not very good at asking questions of people. So I'll kind of I wish I had done that more when I was starting out. I probably would have got a lot further, a lot faster if I'd have been more confident to ask the stupid questions. I always say that to new producers and artists now. It's just ask the stupid questions. And I hope that I would be approachable enough that they could feel to be able to ask a question of me. Because I never felt confident enough in those rooms to ask the stupid questions. I just kind of pretended I knew what I was talking about. Look it up later. I'll figure it out later.